Sunday, Monday. Not a ton of rain, but the change is coming.
Well, it's time to take a coffee break, and we're starting with a rare cosmic event happening this month.
And it's not the asteroid that's going to take everyone out. So that's good. This is a good thing. It's a relaxing thing.
A happy cosmic event.
Exactly. It's going to be a parade in the sky later this week, a parade of planets.
Oh, I love it.
5 planets will be visible in the early evening sky this Friday. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. All 7 planets will be able to see if you just have a small telescope. Most of us don't. This is rare because each planet orbits the sun at different speeds, so it's really hard to get all 8 planets, Earth included, on the same side of the sun at the same time, but it's happening right now. It's really easy to see them. All you got to do, right after sunset, after the sun goes down, look to the western sky. You'll definitely see Venus and Mars. The other ones might be a little bit harder. The next time this is going to happen is the year 2040, so get out Friday.
But what does this mean for my astrological sign and with my house being in Venus and my, can you read my chart a little bit later?
I'm right there with you.
My expertise ended about 14 seconds ago.
Okay,
so,
great.
What is my mood going to be like with this?
It's Friday, so it'd probably be a pretty good mood.
That's
All right.
true.
I'll go with that.
There you
know,
go.
I did look to the sky last night because Marina had talked about how Venus is bright. Is it Venus
So
that
bright.
she said? So
bright,
bright.
yeah.
And I happen to live in an area where there's not a lot of street lights, so there's not a lot of light pollution. And seeing it up there, I mean, it was so beautiful. It almost looked like something artificial. It was so bright.
The light
So we
was
have
on.
that before Friday too.
Very cool.
There's our Friday night plan.
It's going to be a great week. Improvements to infant brain imaging now suggest that humans gain consciousness shortly before being born. So this is in a magazine called New Scientist, and they looked at all of these different factors that go into consciousness. So do you guys, like when you're sleeping, do you consider yourself conscious?
No.
Scientists do.
On a Tuesday night after a couple mornings on this shift, probably not.
Well, so there are things like that they looked at, and they say that there are certain parts of our brain that, based on listening to certain sounds or being able to, hear certain things, or even feeling pain, or if you have colic as a baby, that they were able to determine that for sure babies, when they're first born, do have a level of consciousness, and they think it goes back just like 2 weeks prior to being born, potentially.
Well, it makes sense because you've seen babies respond to noises before they're born, and music and everything like that.
But what I thought was really interesting is I didn't realize that until the 1980s, doctors would operate on babies because they didn't think that, without any anesthesia or painkillers, because they didn't think that children had consciousness like that. So it is a relatively new phenomenon and something that we're continuing to study.
Well, this makes sense because my one daughter, Mary, had colic and was like I love her to death, but she was a very hard baby, but she had kind of a traumatic birth. So I wonder, I mean, she wasn't injured at all, she was healthy, but I do, like Lola just real easy, and she was a very easy baby. Mary was born breech and it was difficult, and she did not sleep and did not stop crying for like 6 months.
There's a correlation between the two.
So I do wonder, and now I do feel a little guilty for being like, will you stop crying?
It's okay.
She doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Hopefully
fine.
she's not watching either.
Yeah, no, she's at school.
Okay, good. Well, a short break from your smartphone can have much bigger benefits than we think, which we know there probably are a lot more benefits.
Put it down.
Yeah, so a group of researchers took a look at what happens when people block the internet from their smartphones for just 2 weeks. So get this, 91% of the people who went into this felt better after the hiatus.
Is it just the internet, or you have?
It was just internet.
So not even social media.
It included social media, like getting rid of the apps and stuff like that. Okay, so a little more than 450 people between the ages of 18 to 74 were part of the study. So a big range of people. They found out that most of them had better mental health, better subjective well-being, better sustained attention, and overall, most of the participants said they had a better mood after. So some quick tips that these researchers say. Take short breaks with the digital detox. Start with like 20 to 30 minutes, then increase it over time. Or set aside time with your family too, where no smartphones are allowed. Also, you can turn off unnecessary notifications on your phone to reduce screen time and wanting to plug into that app because Instagram said someone posted something. I know that feeling. And then pick up a new phone-free activity. That's good for all of us. And the real challenging idea that they had here, pick up a dumb phone. So
I
only
kinda want a dumb
calls
phone.
and texts, so you can't even have access to it if you really want to challenge yourself and see how you'll feel.
I think it's great. I mean, in our household, I've talked about this before, we don't have cell phones at the table. And it's always funny if someone tries to go get it or like walks into the other room. It's like we call each other out like, no, there's not supposed to be phones right now. But it actually, I feel like it's really increased our communication and how we, talk about our day and just being more present.
it's so interesting that every single study, there's not one study out there that says
Right.
scrolling on your phone makes you happier, smarter, and a better human.
But it does.
There's not one, but everyone does it. I mean, there's something to the addiction
It
that
gets in your
it's
head.
almost,
Well, I think that's the
It's
point.
like,
It's an addiction,
Yeah.
right? And I think we have to maybe look at that.
I think there's positive and negatives with both sides of
I'd like
all
to
of
do
it.
it. I don't know if I can do it, but I would be interested.
Go
Would you,
for it.
would you ever be one of those people, I'm wondering, that would go into like a locked room for a couple
No,
weeks and not?
no,
Okay.
Just a locked room
like
for a
Aaron
couple of weeks.
Rodgers when he goes in that dark room for 3 days.
But I did tell you I floated in that weightless
Yes,
dark room.
yeah.
That was nice, but that was like an hour.
Oh, that was
not-
okay.
The like
Wasn't
water
it?
floating
It was
thing.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about a Brazilian couple who just broke the record for the longest living marriage in history, okay?
Amazing.
So it's Manuel Dino and his wife Maria. They've been married for 84 years.
Wow.
That's awesome.
They're also very healthy because he is 105, she's 101. They married when they were 21 and 17, respectively. They met while working in farming with their families. They have 13 children, 55
my
grandchildren,
gosh.
60 great-grandchildren, and 14
What a family.
great-grandchildren. So they say every night they listen to a rosary prayer on the radio and they watch a mass on TV. So they're very religious. Their secret to a long marriage, one word. They say love.
Oh.
And God at the center of it too.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I mean,
That's cool.
I think it's great. It says that, his health he's at the end of his life. He sleeps a lot during the day, but he always wakes up to join her for that radio rosary and watching the mass on TV. I think it's lovely. I think, we hear so often that marriages don't last if you get married really young, as they did, but it shows that, you can either grow apart or grow together.
And I think those rituals, whatever they are for people, whether it's what they're doing or something else, I think that's really an important connection point.
Yeah, and I mean, as any of us who are married, we know there's ups and downs. It's not easy, but you gotta try to stick with it. I think being friends is the most important thing.
true.
I mean, love is good. Obviously, you need that too. But Paul,
I love your advice. It's just great.
I can tell that you're really good friends with your wife, Jamie. The way you talk about
best
Doug.
thing, best part of my life. Yeah.
Mike and I
Suzanne.
laugh every day.
I have
We're gonna
cats.
get you married.
I knew that was coming.
But the
We know
chickens,
you
don't
love your
forget the chickens.
I got dogs too.
That's today's coffee break.
Now you can get your Kcal news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.